What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here to do two looks with the new KVD Vegan Beauty Edge of Reality palette. This is a palette that they just came out with for holiday. It looks like this on the inside. We'll get a little bit of a closer look at that when we zoom in to do the makeup in just a moment. But today, because it's Halloween week, and I know I haven't really done anything for Halloween this year. I've been so lame. But like, I don't know, man. I just have not been feeling super festive. And so the creative juices that I usually have around Halloween time have not been flowing through my veins. So today I'm going to do like a little add-on to each look that makes it a little bit more interesting and a little bit more creative, because it's been a while since I did something like that anyway. So with this one, I painted on some little teardrops. We've got some jewels. I've got a little fun creative idea for the next look as well, so I hope you guys are on board for that. Each look you could totally just do without like the extra, like more creative part, and make it just like a look for you to wear on the daily if you wanted to as well. At the end of the video, I'm going to talk a little bit about my thoughts on the palette, because it is a little bit different for KVD. Also, just so you guys know, I did go out to Ulta and purchase this palette myself. I know historically KVD, Kat Von D, whatever they were at the time, have been sending me product for a really long time, so you guys would assume that I got this in PR, but I didn't. They haven't sent me their last few releases, and I'm not sure if that's just how they're doing things right now, or if they are no longer going to send me things because I called them KVD Vegan Beauty Dunder Mifflin Fun Run Race for the Cure. Crime reduces innocence, makes everyone angry, I declare publicly for 6 months. But if that is the case, it was worth it. You can't tell me that Michael Scott was not on the board when they came up with that name. You just can't. But I digress. I will also be linking each look in the description with a timestamp down below if you want to come back and recreate it. That way you can just like jump right to it. I'll also list everything that I use on my face today in the description as well. What else is going on? Again, I have had too much coffee and not enough food today, so you guys are just gonna have to deal with the way I am. Luckily, it didn't make me shaky though. I still had a pretty steady hand painting this stuff on my face, which was surprising. Oh, leave me a comment down below. Let me know if you're going out for Halloween this year. I mean, I doubt it. I feel like most people, like, how can you really go out right now? Hello? But like, do you have plans with your family or something? Are you wearing a costume? Let me know what you're doing, because as far as I know, I ain't doing shit. I think that's all we really need to talk about before we get into it. So let's just dive into the new KVD Vegan Beauty Dunder Mifflin Fun Run Race for the Cure Edge of Reality eyeshadow palette, look number 1, and get this video started. So this is what the palette looks like on the outside. This palette is unique in the sense that it is completely recyclable, and the shades themselves are not pressed into metal pans. They are poured into what appears to be like a hard, I can't tell if it's cardboard or plastic. What is this? It's like a hard plastic case of pans that these are poured into. It's very interesting, and I like that they made this completely recyclable. However, I'm curious if the pouring method will have a big effect on how the eyeshadows perform, because the way an eyeshadow is pressed into the pan often has a big effect on the way the actual shadow performs, so that will be very curious. Now, this is one of those palettes that has the names printed on the back, and quite frankly, I think you guys may have picked up by now, that confuses the shit out of me. I'm gonna do a lot more pointing than naming today. To begin with, I'm gonna go into this kind of grayish, grayish tone right here. I think this is called Levels. On a BH number 6 brush, and I'm gonna start by putting that through my crease. A lot of you guys, when you saw that I picked this palette up, were curious if the formula is different than the normal Kat Von D formula. So watching it, I could tell you that it feels different. Like, they feel more creamy to the touch, but also I would assume that it has to be different because of the pouring method that they use to put it in these plastic pans. Maybe somebody out there is like a makeup scientist or something like that. Is that a thing, a makeup scientist? But if you know better than me for some reason, let me know. But I think that's how it works, if I'm not mistaken. I've spent a lot of time watching makeup manufacturing videos because I'm a fucking nerd. I can't confirm that this is a problem just yet, but it does seem to me that that gray was like a little bit like it caught in the crease area and then had a little bit of a hard time blending out. It is a light enough color that I don't think it's an issue right now, but I'm gonna go into this deep brown shade Simulate on a Sigma E36 brush. If not, we'll find another way. I think that does the job, but I'm also like losing the cool tonedness of it. I don't know, man. I'm gonna go into this satin blue shade. I do believe this one is called Escapist. I'm picking that up on a NABLA small pencil brush, and I'm gonna pack that on the outer corner of my lid. And I'm gonna bring that right through the crease too. And I'm gonna use that same Sigma E36 to blend the edge of that shade into the brown and the gray that we put in the crease. And I'm really just not impressed with the pigmentation on this at all. I was going to do a half cut crease, but right now I'm not feeling that anymore. And I think that I'm going to do a cut center. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of that blue shade onto the inner corner and leave the center of the lid open. And I'm gonna bring a little bit more of that blue through the crease area. I'm gonna wipe that brush off, and I'm gonna go into the shade Abyss, which is also a dark blue, but it is a little bit deeper and it's very shimmery. So I'm gonna dip into that on that same small NABLA pencil brush, and I'm gonna pack that over the center of where we put down that other blue. So far it looks like it's doing nothing, so that's cool, love that for us. I'm gonna grab my white concealer. I'm gonna pop it on the back of my hand. I'm gonna pick that up on my NABLA cut crease maker brush. I'm just gonna use the shape of that brush with my eye open to create a cut. And then I'm gonna close my eye and tilt my head back and just bring that down. I'm gonna tap the edges of that concealer out with a clean pencil brush to blend it into the surrounding areas. I'm gonna go into this multi-chrome gold, green, peach shifting shade, which is called Code or Green Screen? Green Screen. It's called Green Screen. Why am I like this? I'm gonna pick that up on a MAC 242 brush. First I'm gonna clean this brush because methinks it's quite dirty. I'm gonna pack a good amount of that shade onto that brush. I'm gonna put it down over where we put that white concealer because I think it'll be like interesting to have that like yellowy, goldy shifting shade in the center of these dark blues. Use the colors in a unique way and make things look a little bit more interesting. A little bit of that over the blues on the sides. I'm gonna go back in with the pencil brush that I put down the blue with in the first place and start blending with that. Just go back and forth until we have a lovely gradient area. I concealed and I put some powder down, and I'm going to go through the lower lash line with a gold pencil. This is just one that was part of the House of Lashes Sephora collection, and I'm going to just run that right through. You can use any gold pencil you want. I just particularly like this one because it's nice and bright. I'm going to go back into the shade Abyss, and I'm going to pick that up on that same NABLA small pencil brush, and I'm going to run that underneath the entire lower lash line. I'm going to bring it down nice and low and round because I want to kind of like amp up the look of this look. I feel like it's kind of giving me meh, kind of nothing vibes right now. As usual, I came here to do the most. I'm gonna grab a clean blending brush. This is a MAC 221 brush. I'm just gonna go over the edge of that shade and blend it in. Loop around the edge here in a little circular motion to blend that upward. Right here, right there, I feel like I'm losing the shades that I put down. Like I feel like everything has blended away. So I'm gonna add more of those blues back in there, try to get that blend going properly. But I do feel like these colors are blending away a wee bit. I'm not loving it. And for the inner corner, I did pick up one of the Dazzle sticks that they just came out with recently too. This is the shade Hail Surge. I'm gonna pick some of that up on a Luxie 141 mini brush, and I'm gonna use that to highlight my inner corner. So I'm gonna pop it right in there. There are a few different ways to use these sticks, but using it in the inner corner, I feel like you have to put it on a brush because otherwise you're just sticking a whole big fat stick like right in the corner of your eye, and that's not gonna work. I put on House of Lashes Siren Flare, and I finished up my skin, or mostly finished up my skin. I could still use a little touch up here and there. But what I'm gonna do now, because I haven't done something like creative and funky and fun, and it's Halloween this week, so why not, you know? Let's get into spirit. Even though this is not a Halloween look, let's get in the creative spirit of being a weirdo, because I feel like that's really what Halloween is about at the end of the day. So I think I'm gonna do like a little teardrop and try to match it to the color of the blue on the eye. Maybe add a little crystal to the mix. I haven't decided yet. I'm gonna zoom through the process a little bit, but what I'll be using is my MEHRON Paradise Paint palette, which I always use when I'm using face paints, and I'll be using some little nail art brushes as well as just small brushes that I use in my regular makeup. so I did those little tears painted on. I added a little crystal for like a little sparkle, give it a little bit of more of like a watery wet effect even from a distance. I think it's cute. I like the way it came out. I want to add a lip to this look. I've been wearing this combination in my day-to-day life lately, and I wanted to show it to you guys because I feel like it's a good one. So I'm going to grab the KVD Everlasting Lip Pencil in the color Lolita, and what I'm going to put in the middle, this is the Full Force lipstick from BUXOM in the color Fly Girl. This is part of their 90s nudes collections. These lipsticks are beautiful. I never tried their Full Force lipsticks before, but like, oh, they're so creamy and satiny, and they're like the exact texture of lipstick that I like for day-to-day wear. And this is the first look. For look 2, I want to lean into the reds in this palette, and I also would like to dip into this little duochrome number over here. I also wanted to do something with like red jewels, and I ordered some specifically for this look, but they're not here yet. So unless the Amazon delivery man gets here in the middle of me filming, I'm gonna have to come up with like a different creative thing maybe. Maybe we'll do like drops of blood instead of like the drops of water, so that we have like a blood and water sort of a theme. We'll see. I'm gonna grab my BH number 6. I'm gonna go into the shade Code, which is this mid-tone brown, and I'm gonna start working that through my crease just to start this look off. Get this party started. I have to say that the mattes do blend easily. They just seem to like kind of blend away at some point though. And also they're just so mid-toned and washed out and just not enough, you know? They're just not enough of anything. I'm gonna go into this shimmering burgundy called Transformation on my MAC 242 brush, and I'm gonna use this shade on the outer and inner portions of my lid. Generally, I don't like to take my really shimmery colors through my crease, but I think we have to today because there are just not that many options in here to add any sort of depth to these looks. So I'm going to go into that shade on a Sigma E36, and I'm going to just run a little bit of that through the crease because we are doing like a blended out wash anyway, so it should be fine. I'm going to take that same brush, I'm going to use the other side. I'm going to go into this shade Critical. I'm going to pack that over the remainder of the lid in the center and then bring it over the edges of where we put down that darker shimmery red. They're both shimmery, but the darker one is like really shimmery. I feel like I'd be judging this differently if it wasn't from KVD, but because it is, and like I'm expecting like creative, interesting looks from them, it's not giving it to me, and that feels wrong. I'm going to use the Fenty liner in the color Cherry Punk in the waterline to try to enhance the redness of this a little bit, because right now, you know what? Okay, individually, some of these shades are very pretty, but they are really very muted, and this is going to sound crazy to me. If you took the label off of this and you asked me who made this palette, I would tell you Estee Lauder. That would be my answer. There's nothing wrong with that, but for this brand, that's weird. Anyways, let's try to amp this up just a touch. Running this through my waterline. Man, I always forget how bright red this liner is. Damn, Fenty, you're the only ones doing this color as far as I'm aware. I don't know any other pencil liner specifically for eyes that's this shade. We already went through the waterline with a pencil. And you would think to yourself, Nicole, you already used a pencil, that's enough. But no, because I need to intensify this on the lower lash line somehow, some way. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab the Urban Decay Alkaline Pencil. This is like a dark burgundy wine red, and I'm gonna use this under my lashes as a base, like a cream base for these shadows to go on top of. Is giving me real nothing ass vibes. So I'm gonna buff that in with a Luxie 111 Mini, smudge the edge of that, and then when I go over it with that shimmering reddish shade, it'll give it a little bit more punch, hopefully. A little more punch to the punch bowl. So on that same brush, I'm gonna go back into whatever the hell this was called, Transformation, and I'm going to run that under the lower lashes over that liner and hopefully get a little bit more of an amplified result. That's definitely better. See, this shade in and of itself is actually very pretty because it has like a bright shimmer in a darker base and it has like a nice texture to it because of that. However, it's just not as saturated with color or as interesting as you would hope it would be. So like putting over this base is pretty helpful, but it shouldn't have to have a base for it to be good. And because I would be remiss to skip the duochrome shades that actually seem like they could be kind of interesting in this palette, I am going to dive into the shade 4D on a pencil brush, and I'm going to use that as an inner corner highlight. That shade in and of itself is very pretty. I bet that would look really good over a dark base. I feel like this palette in general so far to me feels like it would benefit very, very much from going over deep bases or like cream bases of different kinds, which I don't mind doing ever. I actually really like doing that technique, but I don't think a whole palette should rely on it either. You know what I mean? Unless that palette comes with cream bases. That'd be kind of cool. So here I am with my lashes on and my skin finished, and we don't have the jewels that I plan to use in this look. So I'm going to do what I said earlier and do like a little blood drip to go along with the water drip and a little theme going on. Just like the last look, I'm going to use my MEHRON Paradise Paints palette. My squeaky chair is going to be the death of me. But other than that, I think that's all I got to say. So let's just start painting things on my face. Also, if you don't want things painted on your face, you can just leave the look here, you know? And this is really like a day-to-day look. So there you go. Now that those are painted on, and I quickly scrubbed my lips because they were flaking right off of my face, I'm gonna finish up with a lip. And for the lip, I'm gonna do one of my classic Nicole lip looks, which is just Heatherberry lip pencil from Bodyography, which is very close to my natural lip color with clear gloss over it. Today, I'm gonna use the Fenty Gloss Bomb in the color Glass Slipper. Why? Because it was the clear gloss that I grabbed first, that's why. And this is the second look. So I have to say, I think that this palette is exactly what I thought it was going to be when I first saw it, which is not necessarily a very good thing because, like I said, when I first saw this palette, I didn't think that it was even a KVD palette. I didn't think that it looked very exciting. And then when I saw swatches and I saw the packaging a little bit more closely, I was like, okay, maybe they're trying to do something here and I'm just not seeing it until I see it in person. And then when I got it in person, a few of the shades do look really pretty. So I got excited for it again. On a whole, I think that this palette is a little bit disappointing. I think that it's really cool that they did the recyclable carton. However, I do think that whatever method they are using to pour these shadows into the pans might be affecting the way that the shadows perform because they're not that great. They're not terrible, but they're just so, like, the shimmers feel like a cream almost on your fingers, and the mattes are a little less creamy, but they're very, very soft, and when you put them on the eyes, they blend nicely, but they're so soft that they kind of blend away. I need to dab off some of my lip gloss because it is like sticking my lips together right now while I'm trying to explain this. There was nothing in there that I was like, oh my god, what a nightmare, I can't even work with this. It's just a little blah, which is so not what I expect from the brand. Like, we're talking about the brand that brought us the first rainbow palette that I have ever seen on the market. So it's a little bit strange. I feel like they've lost their identity a little bit here. Both of the looks that I did I think they came out nice. It's just that they're so generic. I could have done them with so many other palettes, including other KVD palettes that I already own. I also think that like the mattes in here, they need help. They need help. They need something. They need like a dark brown, a black, a navy blue, just anything that's not mid-toned. It's just all so medium. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know if you picked this one up, if you think that it looks like it's going to be really medium, because everything about it just feels so medium to me. Are there any other holiday releases that you have your eye on? I would love to hear it. Personally, I am so stoked for the Melt Beetlejuice collection that's about to come out. I will be purchasing the entire collection if possible. Also, leave it to Melt to do Beetlejuice themed for holiday. Love them for that. Don't forget to leave a like on this video if you found it helpful, if you enjoyed it, because I'd really appreciate it. And also, if you're new around here, subscribe, because I would love to have you around for more videos. You know, maybe if you want to follow me on Instagram, you want to keep up with me between these videos, that'd be cool too. I post on my stories a lot. I post outfits over there, workouts, things that you don't see here on YouTube. I do lip art over there, and it's a good time, and I would love to have you. So, you know, I'm at Miss Quinface. Come find me. That's all for today. Please feel free to leave whatever your thoughts are on this video in the comments down below. I will be back ASAP with more fun looks with things that I've ordered and I'm still waiting on, because everything takes forever to get here apparently now, including things that I get in PR. So we just don't even know when we're gonna have things to work with, but we're doing our best. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I appreciate each and every one of you hanging out and talking about makeup with me today, and I will see you in the next one.